Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you political vigilante. Yeah, I don't know how we're sorry. We're on the road, so we're using StreamYard. I'm just in a friend's place, but I wanted to put these graphics up as best I can because it's kind of critical to this story. So we've obviously been covering the Epstein trial and what happened with Epstein back in 2019. We covered the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and we've talked about how there's been no mugshots, right? There's been no mugshots or anything in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. And I'm going to go in a second how it's a federal trial and they limit those. And so I'm going to show you that in a second. But what has been interesting, what's been happening is every day, the Johnny Depp trial. Now, it's not a federal trial, so they can have cameras in the courtroom. You can't have cameras in the courtroom of a federal trial. So it's not just like they just pulled them out for the Maxwell trial. Hers is a federal trial. Johnny Depp is not a federal trial. But isn't it odd, though, that there's no... And every day we're getting trial updates about the Johnny Depp trial. And even, okay, there's no cameras allowed in a federal trial. There's no cameras allowed in a federal trial. All right, but we only got minor updates in the Maxwell trial. And we're learning everything about Johnny Depp and his ex and everything this is going on. And you can debate whether this is a relevant case or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But my point is, there's no way it's more relevant than the single biggest known pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, his accomplice, who's also a pedophile and a sex trafficker. There's no way the Johnny Depp trial is more important or more significant than this. There's no way. 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 There's absolutely no way. So I've shown you, and I want this picture up there. It's like we don't have any photos, only these. These are sketch drawings, right? Only sketch drawings of her trial. The only photos we've seen of her family. That's her brother and sisters outside of the courthouse, right? And I've showed you a lot of things with this trial that are peculiar. James Comey's daughter is the lead prosecutor. And when the defense had a bunch of evidence thrown out, they just kind of went, sorry, like they didn't fight that hard for it, which I find odd. That was a huge thing. Only 4 Epstein victims were allowed to testify. And again, I talk about the Larry Nassar, that U.S. gymnastics doctor that basically molested all of these young girls. He's a rapist. They had, so I can't remember the number, but it was like 150 people speak. It was insane how many people spoke. All of his victims, as well they should. They all should get their day in court. Only 4 victims were allowed to speak. Maria Farmer was all on social media saying, how come I'm not allowed to speak? They let her sister speak, but not Maria. That's odd, right? We've shown you how the judge, there's some interesting, the judge, Allison Nathan, came up in the Skull and Bones Sister Society at Yale, and she referred to Alan Dershowitz as a luminary, and Dershowitz has been named by numerous. Seems very, very guilty, right? There's been articles like this, Ghislaine Maxwell's daddy's girl, right? So why can't we get anything into this? And I posted something on Twitter, and a bunch of some people were like, oh, it's a federal case. And in a federal case, you're not allowed mugshots. You're not allowed. So I wanted to research to make sure that was true, and it is. But this is what I want to show you. This is what's very, very interesting here. So let me show you this. Here it is. Okay. So first, I'm going to show you a bunch of different things here. So we're going to stop sharing that, and I just had to go to all these different websites, and I was working on this a lot before the show today. So we've seen all of these types of articles, right? Everything we know about the Maxwell case. So she was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts. We covered that. We always see like these photos. Okay, this was used as evidence. She was arrested in New Hampshire. This is what's so odd to me. So let's go through her arrest, right? This is, according to the New York Times, when FBI agents went to arrest Ghislaine Maxwell on the morning of July 2nd on a remote property in New Hampshire, they broke through her locked gate, approached the front door, and announced themselves, telling her to open the door. Federal prosecutors, right? So where was the paparazzi? How come there wasn't like cameras surrounding all that, right? And then here's a related story, right? This is inside where she was arrested. Okay. This is again when she was arrested, July of 2020. There's the compound. No, that's it. No photos of her. These are all other articles. There's no photos of her. There's no other photos of her. Right. So then when you'd go, so I said, okay, let's go to justice.gov. All right. We're going to do this in real time. So this is the DOJ's official website. Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. You type that in. Okay. And then here's her case, right? U.S. versus Ghislaine Maxwell, right? It says, and then it says right at the top, you believe you're a victim, call the 1-800 call FBI, which you should do. And this is a November 29 update, right? So so there's that. Then we go back one, okay? And then this is the verdict that came out. So this is the official verdict that came out Wednesday, December 29th, right? A unanimous jury found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty of one of the worst crimes imaginable, okay? And if you go do a search of federal trials, mugshots, and cameras, it says they were not allowed in. They did a trial, and from like a 2000, I think 11 to 2015, they tried it. In 2016, they said no, not at all. But there's no. So I went to some other trials. I really wanted to see other federal cases, right? So here's Whitey Bulger, okay, and this is from the New York Times, and they went through all of his arrests, right, on trial. There's his brother and his brother's lawyer. There's his girlfriend, right? These are his mugshots from when he was a younger man, right? This is the sketch drawing, but then here's mugshots. And then again, okay, sketch drawings, because cameras were not allowed, right? And you can even go, this just came out in August of 2021. Plot thickens in Whitey Bulger murder case with transfer to prisoners. A group of inmates were whisked to solitary confinement after the notorious gangster's killing. Now, 3 years later, all but one of them have been moved out. Okay. So they're asking questions about Whitey Bulger, right? No questions. I mean, we never got to the bottom of how Epstein was able to kill himself. He was in solitary confinement. And here's another thing that's very interesting. We're getting to know the media is crawling all over. And if the media really wanted to investigate, they could. Why aren't there cameras everywhere? Right? Seeing her walking in and out of trial, somebody sneaking a photo somewhere of her, the press gets access, they weasel in if they really want. The paparazzi is all over stuff when they want to be. These are just questions that I have. And all that we're still talking about, this is an NBC News about Whitey Bulger's case, right? So then let's go to another case, another federal case. I wanted to look at federal cases. MS-13's highest ranking leaders charged with terrorism offenses in the United States. This was January of 2021. So this is the Department of Justice. This is their official website talking about the MS-13. Look at this. Look at that right there. This is on their website. See all those? Do you see all those mugshots on the federal website? All of these, and this says at the bottom right there, see that? Courtesy of the FBI. See that? Courtesy of the FBI. This is on their website. This is their website. See, this is doj.gov. You scroll down and this is their website. All of these guys Where is Ghislaine Maxwell's? How come these guys? Oh, so they're terrorists, so we can put their photo up there. And these guys are probably all bad dudes that have done horrible stuff. Have they done worse than what Maxwell and Epstein did? And how come none of her, we know all this stuff. Look at these mugshots. We know all this stuff about Johnny Depp. We don't know anything, any of the other people. Look at this. This is just a local news story. When these guys got
news as a Nashville grand jury has indicted 9 MS-13 gang members. Elizabeth Lane is live this morning at Metro Police headquarters with more on what they're accused of doing. Elizabeth.
Good morning, Nikhil. And right now, all 9 of those MS-13 gang members charged are facing charges in this racketeering conspiracy. Now, U.S. Attorney Mary Jane Stewart made the announcement alongside colleagues just moments ago. She alleges the gang committed 7 murders, kidnappings, assaults, robberies, and has distributed drugs on a large scale here in Middle Tennessee. Law enforcement actually believing the gang has been ravaging our area was the term they used since 2014. Now, MS-13 as a whole is known to commit illegal activity to fund gang leaders as well as their members. Members who help authorities may actually be punished with death. Investigators say they believe some of these victims of these gang members were targeted because they wanted to increase their stature.
MS-13 is one of the most violent, ruthless, and cold-blooded gangs to ever walk the face of the earth.
Okay, I don't deny that. I don't deny how awful MS-13. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, MS-13s, they're a bunch of Boy Scouts." That's awful, but I'm saying they're awful, and look how much coverage they're getting. We're seeing their mugshots. We're getting the ties that they have to all these people. Now, if they're tied to the CIA or anything like that, then that side of the case will go away. But nothing is mentioned about Maxwell. Nothing about everyone in Epstein's black book. During her trial in December of 2021, I talked about 118 pages of FAA flight logs were released. I did a video showing you that prior to that, those flight logs getting released, it was believed that Trump had been on Epstein's plane one time. We found out through the trial and the release of documents, he had 4 more trips, totaling 5. He becomes much more suspicious at this point. And I did a video, it's on my Epstein playlist, why MSNBC and CNN, who hate Trump, they hate Trump. Going after him is good business. They get good ratings. They gave him a pass on 4 new Epstein flight. When Jean Brunel committed suicide in a French prison, Jean-Luc Brunel arrested around the same time Maxwell was, like whatever, December of 2020. So they were indicted around the same time, but the French government arrested him around the same time. He killed himself in prison about a month or 2 ago. No mention of it at all. It was maybe on the, see this little scroll that you have right here? Maybe just help out the show. You know, in the news, they have the thing. It just was literally like, oh, Jean-Luc Brunel hung himself in prison. No questions asked, nothing. We didn't ask any questions. Oh, and then Will Smith slapped somebody. And now Johnny Depp trial. And I'm not trying to minimize any of these other things. I mean, the Will Smith thing is Hollywood. I'm not minimizing the Depp trial because some people are like, oh, it's you know, it's showing how weaponizing, cancel, whatever. Fine. MS-13, awful, evil gang. But why is the most notorious pedophile ring? We're not talking about this at all. We're not talking about this at all. I'm sorry. This brings way too many questions for me. It brings. So I just, as we get into this, let's not forget, there's Trump with Prince Andrew, right? There's Peter Nygard, who's also been arrested. Who knows what's going on with him, with the Bushes, right? shown you, there's Peter Nygaard and Prince Andrew. Again, another modeling agent, right? There's just too many questions, man. There's just too many questions that we just can't seem to find. There's Trump and Epstein and Maxwell, right? There's, Bill Clinton. Let's not forget, Bill Clinton was on his plane 26 times. Hillary was on twice. The Clintons were at Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous times. Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were invited to Bill Clinton's White House in the 90s. No mention of any of this. We can't seem to figure out anything. There's no questions being asked. Why are no questions being asked? And why is the media completely not talking about this at all? Well, there it is. Propaganda multiplier. They control the message. They control the message. So I just have a hard time believing that the media is just, we're too busy with Ukraine to cover this. So we can do Johnny Depp. We can do Will Smith. So CNN can't do several stories at once. Where's Fox News on this? Where are all of them? Where's MSNBC? Where are all of them? Shouldn't the media have scoured those 118 pages of flight logs? Shouldn't they scoured them? I downloaded them. I'm trying to go through them, but I don't understand all of this stuff. So I need someone that knows what they're doing to go through it. Because there's all these like flight codes and stuff. I don't know. I'm not a pilot. So it's just interesting. Follow the money, connect the dots. The truth. Shave your knuckles for justice. There's always a big distraction somewhere. And when people want it on the internet say, Graham, the federal, that's why I just showed you. There's mugshots of the MS-13 guys, but why not Ghislaine Maxwell's mugshots? No photos of her at all. Walking in and out of the courthouse in an orange jumpsuit. No photos of her at all. None. Absolutely none. But the MS-13 guys, front and center. Look at how scary these guys are. A multi-billion-dollar global pedophile sex trafficking ring by the most powerful people in the world. Just we can't seem to investigate it. It doesn't add up. Shave your knuckles for justice. That's why you come here, because I'm going to keep asking these questions. Nobody else is. People want to argue about vaccine mandates. We're going to talk about Epstein. We're going to talk about climate collapse, because if we don't fix that, we're all going to die. We're going to talk about the military-industrial complex, because they're fueling climate collapse. And we know the intelligence community was tied to Epstein and the pedophile rings. Thanks for supporting what we do, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood, and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.